Hello again. I know with these videos, I am really spoiling you. I'm going to do a wee section from White Other today. It's kind of part essay and a couple of poems about very unlikely subjects. So, as a queer person from a marginal working class background, I'm obscurely aware I'm supposed to feel grateful for the rescue afforded me by the lovely, tolerant middle classes, and that anything less is mauling the hand that feeds me. I am also supposed to celebrate my every success as emblematic of and metonymic for the triumph of my people. But I refuse to endorse this fiction. Winning an industry prize is enormously gratifying, but it doesn't do shit for anybody else. They can't have it both ways. Either my life was so terrible that it demanded escape into this aspirational paradise in order for me to realize my dreams, or else neoliberal culture itself becomes the enlightened savior, custodian, and champion of that life, those lies, those dreams. This kind of cake and eat it position requires my people to be simultaneously bigoted fuckwad lumpenproles and the unfeasibly valorous victims of a natural disaster known as inequality. They can use that word, inequality, without once alluding to the persons who benefit from, enforce, and maintain it. I am a firm believer in the teleological argument for the existence of elites. Poverty exhibits intelligent though malignant purpose and design. It is done to us by others deliberately. And it is poverty that creates a vulnerable underclass of others, over-policed though underprotected, and the social conditions in which we become vulnerable. I have reclaimed Glisson for white discourse. When I am told this, I cannot stop crying. I am also dimly aware that in a certain sense, my tears are the function and the badge of my privilege, my passing. I don't let her see me cry, never show weakness, not ever. Cry in the bathroom, smother my sobs in a stack of paper towels. I was trying to explain how opacity exposes the limits of representation. That is a gorgeous, unquantifiable alterity, a diversity that exceeds any category imposed upon it, resists those poisonous hierarchies of absolute othering, fuck any cohesive and totalizing claims of identity. I wanted to honor and celebrate this work of resistance, and I wanted to talk about the urgency of any poetics that has these flights of evasion and fugitivity at their heart. I wanted to talk about Shockley and Mullen and Smith, how their poetries reinvigorate and sensitize critique of the lyric self, and how much this has meant to me. I did not intend to trespass. I meant only to connect. Opacity could be shelter too. Opacity takes a language frequently described as less a language than a tactic and makes it silver, and makes it sing. And yes, tactical, but also radical, imaginative, and controlled. That opacity becomes both a critical and a degenerative tool, that I'm trying to perform shelter's varied escapes and fates by making both a mode and a commentary of evasion. Within the space of the poem, the survival strategies of historic traveller and working class communities are reconfigured as tools for destabilizing or reinventing poetic method. This is a work of love. Knowing what to do when any cohesive sense of identity has been disrupted by trauma, when your identity and the coerced accounting for that identity forms the basis of that trauma, when you live with an institutional imagination as congenitally criminal, subaltern, or otherwise defective, love, and calling into question the implied ethical imperative contained within the claims of neoliberal identity politics, the visibility as an exemplary political platform, the right to be unseen, the right to reticence to question the ways in which visibility is compelled by discourse and by the apparatus of the state. Because anti-trespass laws, because Priti Patel and legislative cleansing, because Dale Farm and Smithy Femme, because endless evictions and big fat gypsy weddings, and the woman who said, "With a pain on our shoulders from carrying coffins." Where is the white discourse that can hold all this? For all my vanished others, my lovely, stupid, dead best friend. I go running. As I run, I repeat, but having naught, I never feel alone, and cannot use another's as my own. Yeah, I have been on trespass in my walk today. But where is my discourse? And when I try to write like them, there are gaping holes and worrying gaps and clumsy repetitions. Will white always make attempts at solidarity, de facto acts of conquest, or maybe it's something else? Like the way political centrists use the rhetorical frameworks of identity politics to take down left-leaning opponents. specifically how Clinton Biden represented the Sanders campaign for democratic leadership as an anachronistic class war agenda that deflected attention from white racism, an act of moral noise-making that willfully ignored the one glaringly obvious fact that class inequality is an inherent and structural feature of fucking racism, that racism is an inherent and structural feature of class inequality. In white discourse, I'm yoked to other white persons in ways that lead our difference and my context. It isn't acknowledged that there are categories of white who are also excluded from whiteness. Because we're white, we're the same. It's not that there isn't difficulty. So glissant is not for me, and I get that. The pain felt by the white other is different and less. I benefit from this imaginative yoking, even as it causes me pain, but I am really failing in my gratitude, care, or responsibility to the colonized other. Or am I failing again in my white performance, the endless, tedious maintenance of boundary and binary? Because denial of the inequalities produced by capitalism is absolute within neoliberal culture, because an understanding of class dynamics is removed from any reading of ourselves, our lives, or indeed our art, we appear to the middle classes as, at best, incomprehensible and enigmatic, or at worst, chaotic, disordered, directionless, threatening. They cannot understand our motivations or behaviors in terms of class. They do not understand the social forces that contour and compress every aspect of our lives. And so they ignore and erase that difference, or they invent reasons of their own. They project, fabricate, and overwrite. That's power. That's real power. It's the power that other removes from white. How other denies and cancels white. How the forward slash performs the divide between white and other, self and self. In the workshop, they hear my comment as a denial of Black pain, as a petulant, what about me? But it's not. It's not. And there's a systematic pain that is inscribed across and enacted through insurmountable and explicit difference, and the subjective pain of invisible othering. Hierarchy is expressed through the refusal of this pain too. What right have you to complain, they say? Aren't you one of us, after all? One of us when it suits us to see you so. One of us when belonging invalidates your grievance, your grief. The Academy as high school attempts at Mean Girls, which I would like to dedicate to Condushtor. The fuck is this? In a clique work wasteland girls, stereotyped in ways not smart. There's a burning book, kids enticed into animal overthrow, boys whose theft is an incomplete thrill, losers, skanks, and a charmed life aping shame. Homeschool kid, your face a clueless moon on your first day and on all days hereafter. I am a passenger, you are my puppet. In cubicles glitch an elliptical wrath, the eardrum bursts, attempting to bury these buds in our skull. Dead-eyed, insensate with melody, the girl whose hair is a rumor mill, the mythical shockwave of puberty, poisonous, polarizing blondes, to persist in an idiot town where a bulletproof pink, where pink is a Zeke Heil, the girl is outrageously famous. She has such white teeth, no poetry is ever getting past them. Make a bonfire of your vetoed math. The lie travels through so many mouths on its way to you, it is cod by the time it arrives. Refuse to hear, make your heart a portable Columbine. That girl is an axe wound, that girl is an axe in heat. Sometimes I dream about it, the hysterical hum of a secret shared. I set a riot van on fire, I smacked that cop, but my heart is a cream-coloured sample-size soap. I can't walk past a group of gadget girls even now. Bad nights where reason reshapes my knuckles against the glass, the disintegrating body disgusting to itself. There's a slut rule, a zombie bride, a devastating playlist. Besties, a silky little ditto and a phone call to fugly. The fuck is this? Killing flies in multiples of iridescent dispatch. Each fly has the face of a girl, the girl who made me drink her spit, the girl who smeared shit on my chair, the girl who took my towel so I would have to walk home wet, the girls who followed me everywhere, who wrote me on walls, the girl who called me terrorist, the girls who had their boyfriends hold me down, who ducked me underwater, the girl who, years later, tried to make her guilt my problem. Father, fuck her. I measured my brokenness out in dogs to a losing theme for decades. Fear is a trickle of discharge, the suicidal fact you don't know what you did. Ancestral curses meet in my mouth. and I was too on fire to function, I mean too gay. In school, death is a yo! That dress is the sickest burn yet, and all joking aside, in the silence of the bed, I can hear my body hair thickening. I become a black rug on which you wipe your feet, like all my people. Where are the poor kids in this film? Where are the solitaries ready to stab you in a feverish whisper? I'm doing the sequel. The vengeful ghost of Valerie Solanas is directing. There will be no cathartic tiara. There will be no circle of trust. Katie is Carrie on purpose. The pig is the prom date. The pig is a palace. The worst musk wafts from her. She owns it. Scarlet ribbons for her hair. Regina George is too much mourning. I mean, she reminds me of life, my viva, this meeting, women. This school is their Paris, and that's just sad. Of course, they know the difference between garments and clothes. Of course, their internal organs have been replaced with crystal slippers. And of course, there's a silk corsage where their heart should be, but still, their world is a tiny hell enclosed inside a pendant. They have issues rather than feelings. When they die, the body comes back as bitches, as lilac spiders. They inherit the sun, them and their forcible cunts forever. Yes, they have doctorates. Being clever is another kind of theft, another kind of weapon. When they gaze at you, they stare through lavender cataracts, everything hazy and pretty and small. They have male secretaries and women to clean their kitchens. An opinion is an accessory too, carefully queer in a footnote font, sex without error, imperishable type. They live off overpriced salad, recycled hype, and air insecurities. Regina George never dies. She goes from town to town with the school on her back. She is legion. Everywhere you'll find her. Tank tops on Tuesday, consecrating incense to herself. Meditations on the life and example of Saint Valerie. Call me a witch. I will show you a witch. I am half pharaoh and half corpse, that is, all woman, through the drugged attrition of late adolescence with a limp calm dressing for breakfast. At the funeral, offering our condolences in a psychopath test falsetto, we cannot wait to talk about ourselves. My father vivisected splendidly the weight of a white shadow. At school, I borrow the head of a horse. I want to be beautiful, anemic, and gaudy. My most languid disguise is a cat with a pastel paw. In the dream, I am injured, anointed. Wastrels wearing flower crowns strew my path with roses. The man moving over me in macabre eclipse, his lips dropping insolent Valentine's assailant assassin. All his footsteps are addressed to me. The mind and its buried devils, the girls and their scrupulous malice, populist and absolute. In the medieval poem, the names of the hair has 77 names. I have 77 names, and a burlesque of bad luck the same. My sonnet is a suitcase inexpertly packed, crinolines, oxblood, superfluous tulips, the orbe, the dirge, all admonitions, carnival. My poetry is vodka, tastes only of itself. 6. I was set adrift on a bamboo raft under a rose-pink sky. I put a conch shell to my lips and I bugled a reveille. 7. At 7, intently beheaded. Val is her own stubborn double. Child counts roses on the swing seat. She remembers the gum in her hair. 8. Oh, let's not be those women, falling apart in fine Regency fragments. A white dress is pretending you're dead. A white dress thinks it's better than you. This is called fetish capital. Take to your bed, buying Starfucker sandals on sale. Cry for days, learn how to account for flowers, domestic gin, get real classical about it, stand around in fountains, your mouth all smooth with rumour, do la duce feater in car, a saint's displeasure. In the future, there is tentacle sex, nectar from another daughter's tongue, the alienation of labour. If she loves you, she will love you forever and ache you to the light. More likely, she will not love you. Shut mouth leaking its blank unsaid. Couldn't wait to comb the church from my hair, blessing myself by black gloves and pavement moons, by holy salt, girls all flesh and fleece. There were morgues, mirrors, intended smoke. A flame in the light bulb bulbs at the skull is wagging, is waging a merciless halo. Later, you may find yourself bruised by the cyborg blade of her tongue. She delivers and resists all names. She cleans the names, the knives that cut the names from culture. Look out! It's feeding time at the zoo. Antagonist. Fur collects on her tendons. Fur collects in her cells. She is changing. Men are a fleshy back in bed. He has no edges, no accents. He's a sponge, a scream. If she can't use words, she will say it with squirming, or an I want loop, or a lob bottle of boiling piss. Heterodically psychotic when a soother, a breeder, an ego booster, because they tried to pay her in peaches, because they said they'd pretend at the protest, because they called her a saint, but they kept the receipts. Abused crackpot, her brain, a round window, a perfect, disposable O. 16. She signed her name as a string of pearls, these rubbery thoughts all her own. Vandal, a skin stitched into miracle, each womb a needless prison, each daughter receives a needless wound. 17. We will never be as full as they are empty. Cities do their fiber optic amen underground. Worms are perverts and they get in everywhere. Contaminants and furious, better to be dead. We asked Valerie for guidance. Her head was a lantern in the lion's mouth, inspecting air. Last one. For Britney, or whoever. Throw him in the cellar, full grown. Touch him with a coy and rationing love among roots. Night spent stroking a mortal sin like a Persian cat. The heart wants what it wants, is a godless baby monitor. Ingenues eaten like eels, their cold stock becoming jelly. Now is the winter of our hell debut, our velveteen pedo and boudoir shock, our medicated sacrament. Sleep to impress, simulate coma, be a briar rose, a fuckable briar rabbit, or be a shrewd pony, throw him to the floor. We chose pale hands and projects, the Merlot of allotted suffering. Listen, see by the light of a slight boy's skin like a catalogue onesie, peel his lingering peach from him. I won't argue with you with what big teeth and forget about Oz. This is the world. Valerie, St. Valerie, cephalophore, her voice inside a nightlight. Listen, you better cut them up before they cut you down. Sister inside her, why are you crying? The crepe de chine of a normative lullaby. Put it this way. Life can begin past ringlets, in a grown-up speech, completely at pen with yourself, deep in a different dress, deep in the outline of an animal, recover the lost symmetry of seizure, become a hyena, a skin stitched from expiry, amplify your razor blade virginity. The martyr is also the murderess, wearing the night vision goggles of absolute rage, tempestuous and hirsute, find him where he lives, in a final tomcat shroud and show no mercy, flow into foxholes and bunkers in a gown of sour gasoline, and his skirt as sheer as your stride in a see-through stocking of napalm kirsch. You are made of moths, eat into him, a virus of light. You are the stuff of Versace. Leave him travestied and gut shot straight to fucking video. Don't be afraid. You fit him like a shiv. These steel toe boots are a double permission. Trample a Vera Wang carpet of roses until he is inside you, and not in a fun way, thrashing and submerged. I'm not going to tell you you are beautiful. No one is. Get over it. The beauty is over. Is there life, after years of dickless wonders screaming through the winding sheets of unexceptional privilege? Is there life after mad bitch and hate mail, Risperidone side effects? Yes and no. I mean, yes, but it doesn't look like you. Stop trying. And no, you were never more warrior. That feral girl saved you, refusing their Puritan rooms, their Sunday distinctions. Getting well doesn't mean going back. Don't be a pink plastic witness, a molested doll, a rose upstairs. Don't collect in their cameras like sand, like size. Now you are the size of yourself. Be the size of yourself. Sane is a model prisoner. Lovely is the blue weatherproof uniform they'll leave you to die in. Listen, be a hyena. The 4 of clubs is a witch's card. You've no need now for their catwalks or closets, their nonchalant incest, their hoaxes and frauds. It's a bad erotica, the opposite of stars. You know what it's like to be naked, a swaggering nemesis, the Rorschach stain of complete despair. What they don't know what to do with you. You've won. Your smile, a teasing chemtrail troubling the ozone, your marketable face. There we were, in mind-controlled sized pieces, variant blondes, goosebump decolleté and slouched, narcissists and gargoyles, the same obedient female as always. Our outfit was nothing but nipples. Our eyes do the Dead Sea saunter over stones, through sea estates undine, undone, through chattering teeth, a recession of salt, discreet mermaids, dainty phantoms. How miserable a thing, ecstatic cage of fame. Lady, make an acid of your faults, your body pushed to a corporeal exit, psychological vomit, self-help, candy and assault. Let's be real here. Drown him. In swim team tendrils, the comfortless suck, absorb him, take him in through the fine amphibious skin of celebrity, or live to see your meatiest fails become memes, palming a face with a fucking break. Drown him, then return to hyena, sweet tooth forsaking marzipan, a torn throat, always come. From your fat thighs and solely debauched animus, don't strike a pose, strike a match, be the negative of lust. No one is looking and you've been a ladder, frankly. We all have. Consider the body, rose garden, traffic accident, a self-portrait in medical beige, screaming in garbled Jurassic outbursts, pull the flowers from your mouth, rip your hair out at the root. Change. God is dead, Britney, eaten by lions. God is lions, eaten by lions. Cheers.